What's up everybody, my name is Henrik and I will be your host for this episode of the Seeds of War's quick tutorial. Seeds of Wars lets game masters bring their players the experience of leading a faction with all the power, wealth, influence and hidden enemies that come with it. If you haven't watched the first episode of our series, feel free to check it out whenever you want. Also, if you want to learn much more about the game itself, you can support the developer by purchasing the Seeds of Wars book and the other available merchandise. Just click the link in the description. It's very easy to get started with creating or trying to join a campaign. Start at the home screen of the app and you'll find a new campaign or find party. Now, creating a new campaign, game masters have two options. They can use a template with the pre-made world of Ceres, including a world map with 30 realms and 100 potential factions. Or they can make all of the elements themselves, including introducing their own map. Once created, these settings can be edited at any time, but only by the game master. It is in this screen that game masters can copy invitation links for their campaign and email players to bring them into the game directly. Otherwise, players have the option for looking for a campaign to join by clicking the Find Party button and sending a request to join a campaign to whichever party in the list they choose. Now, the game depends on players switching between many different layers, from an epic focus to a personal focus. When players need to manage their realms, collect resources, or otherwise make decisions from a macro perspective of their realms, that is Seeds of Wars played through a epic focus. Essentially, the players are not playing as their characters during these moments, but as the factions their characters are leading. When players, on the other hand, roleplay negotiations between two or more faction leaders, or even go adventuring with party members into an unknown dungeon, these moments are played through a personal focus. Normally, there are rules and mechanics to follow for a personal focus gameplay, but Seeds of Wars is written to allow any game system to provide rules for personal focus moments if any roles are even needed. The character's class needs to be fitted into one of the 5 faction archetypes: Order, Faith, Magic, Trade, and Culture. Order factions are the major governments that rule realms. Fighters and other classes focused on combat usually make for good leaders of this type of faction. Faith factions are religious organizations who manage the faith of the people throughout various realms and counties. Clerics and characters focused on the divine are best suited to lead these factions. Magic factions, on the other hand, are made up of schools of magic users with the potential to cast spells that can affect entire realms. Wizards and sorcerers and other arcane-focused classes typically lead these factions. Trade factions can be thought of as merchant guilds or noble houses with an impressive versatile network. Rogues and other skill-based classes lead their factions well through the sometimes complex campaigns of Seeds of Wars. Finally, culture factions make up factions that are more abstract, ranging from a bard college to an organization devoted to the preservation of knowledge, to a guild of morticians and death workers. Bards are typically the leaders of these factions. Now, these are simply recommendations and they do not include every class available in different games, but with a little bit of thought, any class can be adapted to fit in any one or more faction types available. Paladins make sense for Order and Faith factions, especially if that faction can be a mixture of those two types. Meanwhile, barbarians can make sense for Order, Magic, or Culture factions that are wild and linked to the natural world. If you enjoyed today's video, please click that like button and subscribe to our channel to get updated when we release a new video. We'll be here to keep making more content about Seeds of Wars and to make the process of learning the game easy and fun for you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and we will do our utmost best to answer them. And I wish you happy dice rolling.